Ignition sequence start 5 4 3 2 1 0. We've got a left. Hey, everyone, this is the person who invests in digital assets. I don't know why. It seems like maybe the end of the Ripple story has come or is getting closer. So, I wanted to take you down memory lane and show you some of the things I've been through and seen. Some of them you may know, and some you may not. But I want to show you how I got here, what I went through, and what we went through. I'll just touch on a few of these things and try to remember a little bit of what happened. I don't do this, and I don't think I've ever done it before. I don't think I don't know, because I don't. But Ripple has always been said to be based on the song Ripple by the Grateful Dead. Okay. Well, what's funny to me about that is that Ripple also, I don't remember if it was a book, an album, or a video, seemed to be about that. But something they put out helped shorten a long, strange journey. I don't remember if it was a song or not. But, folks, that's what this has been, a Ripple. I never in a million years would have thought that Ripple and XRP would turn out the way they did. But it did. So I'm going to tell you about my journey. It began around the end of 2013 or the beginning of 2014. On CoinMarketCap, it was just called Ripple back then. And this is when I first heard about Ripple. I thought it was different, and you can see that it was priced at a penny. In this time frame of 2 or 3 months, plus or minus 2 or 3 months, it was less than a penny. There's where I first heard about this story. So I'm just going to go through and show you some of the things that have happened. So I found out about it around this time. Then I was keeping an eye on things, and in that 2013 to 2014 area, there was a crash. At the time, I thought, okay, maybe I'm wrong about this whole thing. And the value of what I had went down, among other things. Then I remember hearing somewhere in 2015 that Ripple had been shut down by FinCEN and that they had found $70,000. And there was a criminal or civil money penalty against Ripple and that XRP and all of this, okay, and I remember hearing about it and thinking, oh man, not only was I wrong, whole thing, okay, but these guys must be shady guys, whatever, all the whole thing. Okay. So, and this happened around 2015 and 2016, somewhere. One day I woke up and my investment was like 20 or 30 or 40 times okay. Then, in late 2017, Ripple announced the Ripple escrow. At this point, I still didn't have a channel. So there was no one who invested in digital assets. It's December 7th of this year. Ripple puts 55 billion XRP in escrow. So that supplies can be counted on. This is what made it possible for XRP to reach its all-time high on January 4th, 2018. That happened when, while we were sleeping one night, MarketCap removed the South Korean exchanges from the market cap without telling anyone. When everyone woke up the next morning, the price looked like it had crashed, but they had just stopped counting the South Korean prices. But that was the start of XRP's value going down all the way through 2018. But I didn't know what time it was. Look at it now. I know more now. Some of the people who make CoinMarketCap work. We've also made videos about that. But I didn't know then what I know now. I didn't know it back then. I also didn't know that this article had dropped on. I saw this article on February 27th, 2008, and I remember it. Teen Ripple's Chris Larson met the person with the most bitcoins. I didn't know there was a war at the time, folks. I didn't know that this article was written by Laura Shin. Now that we've found out a lot of other things, it seems to be, I don't know for sure, but it seems to be on one side of the war and not Ripple's side, which I didn't know. That is why, in my opinion, this article was written to warn people about Ripple and get their attention. I think that's true. Now, at the time, I didn't know that, but I remember when it happened. Then to the right, from January and February of 2018 to May. Remember, XRP was at an all-time high when I started paying attention to this. I remember this in particular from May 15th, 2018. When Snoop Dogg did this. In New York City, Ripple held an event for the XRP community. And the main act was Snoop Dogg, who was there. And I remember how sick it made me feel that I couldn't join in. And you already know that I couldn't join in, because I started my channel in May 2018. I don't remember the exact date, but it had only been going on for a few days. So I had no chance of getting an invite to the XRP community night so I could meet one of my heroes, Snoop Dogg. Since then, folks, I've joined the fight. And during this time, we watched and wrote about thousands and thousands of hours of video of people like David Schwartz and Miguel Valles, who was in charge of XRP markets back in 2000 and is now in charge of XRP markets in 2017. We went through every video and every word said by anyone who had anything to do with Ripple. This includes Clip, Chris Larson, and Stefan Thomas in the early days, Ashish Birla, Corey Johnson, who was their chief market strategist at the time but left, Dileep Rao, and all the old videos of Chris Larson. We went through it all and showed it all. Then, as time went on, more and more people got into the influencer side of things and joined to become fixated on this thing. The words were Ripple and XRP. Along the way, there were also other stories. We found out that Matthew Mellon, the heir to the Mellon banking fortune, was a big holder of XRP. This is one of the most interesting things we found out. And he died, I believe, of a drug overdose. And the story went that he had XRP in cold storage all over the world. We still don't know what really happened to it. In addition, we had our 3 suing Ripple. That was a big story, but they worked it out in the end. But we still don't know what the option agreement with our 3 is. We don't know if the settlement involves giving them cash or XRP or giving them a new option to XRP. We have no idea. But there was a lot going on here, and we talked about it when it was happening. At the same time, during all of this, in 2018 and 2019, UPS, there was this fictional character on Twitter named Bearable Guy. He would post cartoons, riddles, and other things for people to figure out. And the word COMEX 589 kept coming up. People started trying to figure out what they meant, and it became a big deal. The digital asset investor didn't really try to figure out what they meant, but I was watching and I thought it was interesting to see everyone try to figure out who this person was. Everyone thought this person might be someone inside Ripple trying to send a message about what was really going on. Then we had an investor, who I still don't trust, and investors sue Ripple, who later dropped the lawsuit. He sued him because he lost a few $100s and said that he told him to buy a security or something. Then there was Brad Garland's house, which came about when Ripple teamed up with MoneyGram. At the time, this was a big deal because they were going to start using XRP. That would have made a big difference in the game, and they did work together and use XRP until the lawsuit was dropped. We saw Brad Garland House go to the IMF and talk to them. Christine Lagarde is right there. We saw him on stage with the IMF General Counsel and Brad Garland House, who was going to Switzerland. They were all in the same room with a bunch of central bankers. Then we saw Ashton Kutcher on Ellen DeGeneres giving XRP to charities. So, we're going to invest in Ripple, a very interesting tech company we found. Right. Okay, tell me what Ripple is. So basically, Ripple is a place to meet. Now, we don't need to talk about that anymore. But we also saw Madonna in a commercial for one of the charities she works with. I don't know if any of that is protected by copyright. So I'm not going to play it. But here she names Ripple by name, and she's in Africa. It looks like we had Scooter Brett Braun, who started a company called Raised in Space that was going to build something related to the music industry. He is Justin Bieber's manager, and he was supposed to be working with Ripple on their spring project. Then, in December 2020, we saw that the SEC dropped the lawsuit against the RippleNet people. We went to places we never thought we would go. I didn't know when this lawsuit was thrown out. In fact, the lawsuit was dropped a year ago. But Brad Garland House had posted on Twitter that the lawsuit would be dropped on December 22, 2020. And they had given up on the case. I remember seeing that, but I had no idea what it was. I had no idea that it would take more than 2 years to finish that lawsuit, but we're almost there. When that happened, I didn't know that it would lead us to find out and look into all the tricks that had been used to slow down Ripple and slow the spread of XRP. We found the speech by Penman. I remember the speech from the time it happened, but I didn't know how important it was until the lawsuit was dropped. I think that people in the XRP community went down a path they didn't know they would go down and didn't know about the skills that would be found in the XRP community of sleuths. And there was a time when even Brad Garlinghouse said not to underestimate internet sleuths and talked about how they had changed the case and where it was going. Then John Deaton walks in. I didn't know who he was at the time, but I have since learned who he is. Before we knew it, he was working with the XRP community to find out what happened and why, and he filed a lawsuit on behalf of everyone who owned XRP. Then, after all of that, we found this video of Charles Gasparino from 2018. In it, he talks about how he met some of the guys at Consensus who had a theory about Ethereum and how they said they were working with the SEC and the CFTC back in 2008. Teens working behind the scenes, and we found this by chance. And that's why Charles Gasparino, Eleanor Terrat, and Fox Business joined the show. Since then, I've even met Eleanor Terrat. Before that, I had no idea where this journey would take me. All of this came from what my father, who is the official father of the Digital Asset Investor channel, told me while I was mowing the lawn one day. He said, "You know, at night I watch all these YouTube videos about all this crypto stuff. And you could do this too, because you know as much as anyone else about it, and because that one idea is what started all of this and put me on this 4+ year journey. Many of you have been on it with me. You met a lot of nice people and made a lot of good friends. It's been a wild ride. It's been a long, strange trip. I am the investor in digital assets. I don't give advice on how to invest. This is just for your entertainment. Please sign up, click like, and tell your family and friends. This trip has been long and strange, but it could be coming to an end soon.